Good morning, guys. I am heading off to the county dump. Yesterday, my last call was canceled. Evidently, she texted Square back to cancel, but I guess I never got the message. I'm not quite sure how that part works, so I'll probably need to check on that to see if they can actually text Square back. If there's like this thing that says, to cancel, text back cancel, and we'll notify Zach, which never happened. But I texted her, let her know I was coming, and she said she wasn't home, so I said, let's do it on a different day. I don't know when that'll be. It's a PM. But today, I have a few different calls. I have a meeting at 9 o'clock to look at a job in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. And then I'll be traveling across to Wilmington, which is the neighboring town, and checking out a service call where the unit doesn't run consistently. And I have a couple other calls. I don't know which ones of those I'll actually do today, because one of them might not be necessary. It's a no cooling call where I told them the system needed to be changed out, and they called me back and said it wasn't cooling, and I said that's because it's in awful shape. You need to change it out. Then they said they'd get back to me again. So I may never see them again. The other call is just, it's a result of a PM. I came up with a couple things that need to be changed on the unit, which is a contactor, which will put in a sure switch, and the capacitor was a little bit weak. And that guy, I had it for today, but I don't know if I have enough time to get to it. And but that one's for sure. I just don't know when I'll actually do it. So we'll see if that happens today or not. It's all a part of timing. So we'll see how it goes, and you guys can come along for the ride. Looking at the job here down at the beach. 2 outlets there. We got 1, 2 outlets here, and they're exposed. So I can reach up in there to see. Had to come up with some kind of trunk idea. Where's our right hand school? Your right hand school. Okay. One here. I don't know how we reach that one. We'll see. One up here. The ceiling. This has all been ripped out because of mold. Right here. And right here. Mechanical closet is here. Old return. And exposed up there. So you get some sort of plenum in place. We have a hub drain down there. And what looks like 5/16 copper and 3/4. So a little bit low on the copper side. Let's see what size filter we have. Hard to tell, looks like 20 by 25. 20 by 25 filter. Alright, that would indicate 2.5 tons, but this copper doesn't. Love the idea of that either.
Especially after they have, and Pure Clean I know is so good, especially after they have cleaned them, they tested positive. They re-cleaned them, and they're still quote unquote mold. So before I come in here and put in, and they said, you know, you just let us know, Karen, we'll come in and take out, you know, Robert said we'll come in, and that's sort of what I was going to text you last night. I don't know if I got that part last week. But we'll come in and take out the dock door going downstairs, the vents, and the air conditioner. But
alright guys, I'm up on the roof now. Up on the roof. Oh yeah, she's beautiful. Looking for a unit. It's nice, this door's open too. $23.01. Might be the Ream dry charge. Could be her, 36. probably is. Yeah, I'll take a beating up here. I'll tell you one thing, the one that is the one for this apartment should have no gas in it. That one has gas in it. So that ain't it. Let's get the crap out. So guys, I'm leaving the beach condo here, where it's been torn apart in the name of mold remediation. The lady here is very, well, she is a talker, which is fine, but she talked, I've been here for about an hour and a half. So she was talking up a storm. She was just giving it to Gundy, verbally. And, you know, the house has been torn apart and remediated. All the ductwork's been taken out of one of them. She has another unit where they haven't taken the ductwork out. This is like a maze getting out of here. They've taken the ductwork out. And the other one, they haven't taken the ductwork out, sorry. But she's concerned about it. I think there's water coming in from the roof, which is kind of funny because she took me up on the roof to show me where the access is for the equipment. Turns out the unit that was matched with the old whatever was in the closet there was a Train XR11. It's been there since 2005, and then the original unit was probably in the closet. So it's been there for a while. I don't know, whatever she said that they worked on, which was American Home Shield. So American Home Shield came in April of last year and worked on something, or American Home Shield's contractor, let me say that, came in there and worked on something last April, and by the end of the summer, the whole thing was full of mold. And they said it had to do with the ceiling and joints of the HVAC, which means, I don't know, she said there was some confusion about changing out something. I think they probably changed out the air handler, and she was confused, and maybe the original wasn't there, because they had to upgrade the breaker. They put 10 kW in it, which I think is overkill for the beach anyway. And it was 3 tons on some of the units and 2.5 tons on other units, and I would definitely think that 2.5 tons would be more than enough for that particular area. You want to have a decent run time. With 3 tons, you might get, you know, improper dehumidification, just, you know, off the cuff, just looking at it. And I haven't run any of the numbers for it. I got to put together a design for this thing, and it's going to be pricey, so I don't know if it's going to be a successful bid or not. She seems to trust me because I was referred to her by another gentleman which she trusts, but sometimes people get a certain idea about how much things cost, and they cost way more. So we'll see. I don't know. It looks like probably a 2-day job, you know, plus it needs a crane, so there's a few $100s to hire a crane and stuff like that. And it's always, you got a balancing act to try to get everybody there at the proper time, la la la. So, but I'm heading off to do a service call in Forest Hills, which is a old money subdivision in Wilmington, and I'm gonna take you guys along for the ride. I'm leaving the old Wrightsville Beach, going across the bridge of the Intercoastal Waterway. That's like the sign said. There's our run capacitor. And what happened is, yeah, like the start capacitor will start the unit, and you see all the stuff down here at the bottom from the inside of the capacitor. I haven't seen one like that in a long time. It's probably been 3 or 4 years. But guys, I was driving out of this subdivision. Let me turn my boisterous air conditioning down. I was driving out of the subdivision here, all the subdivision, and all these houses back in the day. I did all these houses. I was leading the crew for my father's company that installed all the ACs on every single one of these, about 20 or 30 of them. Every single one you see passing by, and every single one of them was Train, man. I was throwing in Train, XR12s and XR13s, but not so much up here in this part of the subdivision. But the stuff we just passed was all Talontown, and every bit of it was Train. So I mean, sometimes it gets lost, but I have quite an experience with Train over the years. A lot of them were, I guess, TEC air handlers. You know, they have TWE air handlers. And I'm trying to remember the other name of them. I think there's a TEE, if I remember correctly. I probably don't. It's been a long time. I think TEC was the ones we were using for 13 SEER. So it seems like a long time ago, but just got to go repair one down the street with the capacitor with, I guess you could say aneurysm or something. That thing was blowed up. Well, I just got a call from a lady that I looked at her job. She wanted to see about changing her unit out. She never did it. It's been a couple months, and now the unit's not working. Shocker. Shocking. So, time to go practice my salesmanship. Let me practice here. Yes, ma'am. We can put you in a nice 2-stage model. Oh shit, they're inverters. Hold on a second. Let me try that again. Alright. Yes, ma'am. We can put you a quality 5-speed inverter in. And if it breaks, we'll have to hire someone that has a 4-year degree to work on it. Because I don't know what it's doing. I'm just kidding. It's a trailer. Guys, we got a unit where the compressor and fan aren't running. We're going to check out this AMRAD capacitor. The fan, the spin, it wasn't very free spinning. It didn't take off when I did spin it, so we'll check this run cap. I shut the power off to it. We got some burning there on the contactor too. See what's going on. Even though I haven't disconnected the leads to the compressor, I'm going right from the contactor. But the fan's in thermal overload too, so whichever one ends up first, I'll be able to tell if the fan comes out because the ohms will be a little bit higher. Guys, you can see we have 1.1 ohm now. That's the compressor itself out of thermal overload. When you see a higher value in the double digits, that's the fan, which was 14 to, if you spin it around, you see the value change if you spin the blade around. But once the compressor's out of thermal, it's going to stay right where it's at. It's going to be a low number in the single digit ohms. Good morning, guys. I'm heading out to do a couple calls today and some administrative items. Gonna add a sure switch and a new capacitor to a unit I was doing preventive maintenance on a few weeks ago and found those two issues. Contactor's pretty burnt and the capacitor was about 10 microfarads off of where it should be on the compressor side. I think it was like a 60 and it was doing 51. So I'm replacing both of those and I'm going to a no cooling call in Wilmington. New customer is actually Home Advisor, and every now and then I actually get one of those. Home Advisor pays off, but it's an exercise in patience, and there are some frustrations for sure. Then I had to bring a portable AC. I'm gonna the apartment building where I do a lot of my work. You guys see those Train TWP units. The lady that owns those apartments has a few rental properties, and one of her rental properties is going to get a new system. And I'm going to take the portable they use in the apartments over there to cool that house while it takes a few days for me to get everybody together to do that work. And that's pretty much it. There's one more. A daycare in a town where I used to live. I used to live across the street from it, and you guys have seen that in some of my Talent 875 videos. They had a flood during the last hurricane. Every time it rains a lot, their yard floods and the ditch floods in front, and it flooded into their crawl space, which is supposed to be sealed and waterproof. That's what the company told her. But she thinks it is not as waterproof as it could be. But we're gonna see. We're gonna take a look at it, see what it looks like down there. They have sump pumps and stuff like that, but we'll see what's going on there as well. Stick around. This is our 60/5 capacitor. See, it was 55 when I came here in December, and then when I got here in August, it was 51, so it continued to go down and down, so we're going to go ahead and switch it out. And we have a burnt contactor, so we're going to put in an Emerson Sure Switch, which will be much better for the life of the contactor, and hopefully these two items will last the life of the unit. I think we're about 9 or 10 years old on this unit right now. Actually, it's 10. It's 1606 Armstrong Air package unit. These run capacitors here don't seem to be very good. I have lost quite a few of these over the last few months. I've seen on relatively new units that are only just a couple years old, sometimes not quite that old. There's a Trade Pro capacitor I had on the truck. It's been on there for a while. I tested it, it's still good to go though. I haven't bought one of these in several months, so I know it's been on the truck for a while. So I'm glad to see it go. Okay guys, I have the base mounted right here for the Sure Switch. You can see it. I got the contactor still in place. I just pull it out of the way to take wires off one by one and put them on the Sure Switch. And then the top of it will mount on to that with these screws right here. And then we can go ahead and get this thing fired up, and I can hit the test button and let it run. So we don't have to wait on delay. And that'll test both the capacitor and the Sure Switch. I have my contactor in place, Sure Switch, new capacitor, have our low voltage up here, our wire one in common. We have our line coming in right here on these two lugs. Nothing on the crankcase heater. There's no crankcase heater for this unit. And of course that would be on the common is where that's heading. There's a switch here to the top side where we have our fan common, compressor common. There's the fan common, compressor common wire. It's the run winding wire, and we have the jumper over to the capacitor on the capacitor common. So I'm going to fire it up and we'll press the test button and make sure she fires up like she's supposed to. I'm going to hit the test button, which is right down here, and that'll give us a 5-second compressor and fan run time. The fan's already on because I guess it's calling for cooling. So we're going to push it down for 1 second. You'll see the light change color here. And then we get a few seconds of runtime, and then we should turn on naturally here in just a minute. We'll make sure that happens as well. Well, the giant boat is finally finished. Time to go to the next call. Alright guys, I am heading down the road to go to my next call, and it is in Wilmington, North Carolina. There's no cooling. From what I can gather from the location of it and the fact that the mother's going to pay via credit card, it must be a college student from the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. So let's see what's going on, and may you all have pleasant dreams.